Send it to the AC Face 77, please.
773.
AC Face 77 at hotmail.com.
Let me see if I still got that.
We're on. Dexter, you ready?
Yes.
Let's see. Oh, not my fit.
No, not my
Mitchell?
not my fit.
TH. Can you, so what does it start with?
AC Face 77 at Hotmail.
ACH?
Like your faith in God.
It starts with ACH? ANCH?
AC.
I got meal day. AC.
I'm gonna text it to you. We're live.
Hi, how are you? Good, good to see you.
Y'all do.
Okay, sign in. Get these. Okay.
Gloria Jackson. Yeah. Okay.
We're live. We're live.
We got an initial form for the one. You just got a form.
Was that bottom? Are they?
I don't know if it came on. Will it come up right here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good.
It's too cold outside. It's too cold outside.
I don't need to be there. When you get them a cold, it's hard to get rid of it.
Absolutely.
You see that?
Hey, X-ray.
It's my X-ray.
Oh, I have X-ray. I just bought some Girl Scout cookies. Got called for.
You said go.
Got called for.
You got the peanut butter sandwich.
I told her to bring it.
I thought I was bringing it, Deja came to town and just took my coffee.
Oh, so you don't have it at all, so I can't.
I got them at home.
So I can't, well, we can announce you take orders.
I can take orders. Yeah, I got some at home.
Okay.
Deja took my coffee. She put me up.
How long she in town for?
Huh?
How long she in town for?
I think it's Sunday.
Okay.
One of her teacher's 80th birthday, she came and took her.
So sweet.
The cord is long enough, Valerie. My cord is.
Thank you. See you again.
Alex,
Yes, ma'am.
you don't make, Zoom? So if somebody talks, if they do come up here and talk, you just move it to Boston.
Absolutely.
I'm Boston, how you doing?
All right.
How you doing?
You want to read them?
Get in there. See you in a minute. Give me stand for breakfast, please. Oh, yes, yeah, I took his break. I appreciate that. You got it, Bobo. There you go. My clip. Father God, we come to you on this meeting. Thank you for allowing us to come to this month's meeting, our second meeting. Father God, we ask that you bless this meeting, bless each one of us, or here online, and those who may be on their way. Father God, we ask that you guide and direct us, and that this meeting be a productive meeting. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen.
I wanted to use that, y'all. I ain't used it the last 3 years. Okay, thank you, welcome everybody. Here in the conference room at the train station and also everybody online. We have some of our committee members on Zoom, and then we have our viewers on our live stream on YouTube and Facebook. Just to let you know, actually, we get about anywhere between 25 to 30 people viewing on Facebook. So what they do, they text, okay, thank you. They text that they're there and say hello. Want to say hello to our ombudsman, Sheriff Wright, Edward Wright. Thank you, welcome. Coming. And then we got our wonderful Deacon Streeter from World Baptist Church. Thank you for being in the house. And I know we're gonna have some other guests tonight, so that they come and join this time in. First of all, we want to thank everybody who helped with the town hall meeting. We had a very, very, very successful town hall meeting. It was very informative. We tried to touch on a little bit of everything that we're doing for the year 2025, and we'll probably recap some of that today. We also had the mayor, he spoke significantly about what he was doing or is doing for the city. So that was wonderful to have him in the house. And then we went over, Allison Hilton went over our zoning overlay, historical zoning overlay, and then our affordable housing overlay that we will be posing to the city next month. So we plan to do that next month. And we'll talk, Jerome will talk about that later in Allison, what that will entail. So, we also want to thank everybody, first of all, thank the Historical Society for putting on the documentary. Liberty Hill had a wonderful documentary. Let's give them a hand. We have the Historical Society online. You might have to accept some people in there, Allison, if they come on. Anybody waiting? Okay. They did a wonderful job of presenting it at the IM Museum in the last couple of weeks, and then again at the Academic Magnet School. So just keeping the video relevant and putting us back on the map. And so we thank God for them that they took on that task to be a blessing.
Excuse me, was that the polished jewel?
Yes, yeah, polished jewel.
Yeah, I see it here.
Yes. So moving forward, we're gonna be polishing the jewel. We're gonna be liberating the hill, polishing the jewel. So we thank God for them. Everybody, don't forget to sign in the back. And then Sita is our treasurer. If you raise your hand, she's taking dues. Dues are $60 for the year or $5 a month. Okay, membership does have its privileges if you are a member, your vote will count, provided you come on a regular basis. If you miss more than 3 meetings, then you kind of lose that privilege until you come back to 3 more meetings, because you don't know what's going on if you miss the meeting. So we say, and that's been a rule with the council, since I've been filming. And I think the last bylaws I finally saw was back in the 80s, and that was back. We have documents on the table back there. We have a survey. We'll talk about the survey shortly. Minutes are back there and some flyers. I have some flyers here. Can you put that on the table back there? We pick up the flyers, the survey and minutes. And then we also have some bylaws, guidelines, pages that we will be reviewing. When we get the grant, we are required to formulate policies and procedures and bylaws and guidelines. And then we are required to review them. Some of it's is mandated by the grants that we pay for. And, I worked with government in the last 35 years. And when you work under these government systems, you have to go over your bylaws and your policies and procedures. So we're doing that tonight. And then, I don't know, we should have stuff that we need help with afterwards, but we'll talk about that also. Okay, I saw court enforcement.
Shut the door. I didn't get in. Find the door open.
This one, can you, the automated doors? Oh, yeah, those doors are acting on.
I'm sorry.
So, I think we got our ombudsman here, so I'm just gonna put it on here. So they did clean the carpet, thank God. Hallelujah. They do need to, they say they buffed the floors, but the floors are not buffed. And then, the security guard said that, he told us that they got the fixtures in the bathrooms that are broken, lights that are broken, and then you saw the door keep going. So, we'll make a list, and it's, I said, yes, sir. Of things that need to be broken. Okay, but they did do a good job cleaning the car. So, since enforcement officer is here, code resource officer is here, we will let Dr. Poppy Cooper. I'll say it from the sound. This is a little pet thing we got.
How's everybody doing today?
Good.
All right, man.
Do you mind going to the podium, please?
Okay.
You know, we want to see your hands.
I saw that cross, and I don't know, I might burn. I saw that cross.
You can't.
So we have some few events going on this weekend. The first one, I believe, is at Royal Baptist Church. This was an awesome Black History Month celebration, I believe from 10 a.m. to 12 o'clock. So it's at a Black church, you know, it's always overflow. So if I tell you one, probably going to be two. So we also have we're showing a movie at Catholic Cathedral off Ashley Phosphate. It's supposed to be a gun violence movie being supposed to be shown over there. I want to say around 2, 3 o'clock. It's sponsored by the Sheriff's Office as well as North Charleston. Those are the two events I know is going on for this weekend. I have no stats right now. I'm currently waiting on my stats for the stats guy, so I can send Ms. Val email as soon as I get that stuff. So I had nothing to report. I did call dispatch. And they were pulled for any major crime capacity. So I don't have right now anything as far as Seneca Liberty Hill. Now, Park Circle has some other issues, but that's not Liberty Hill, so therefore I'm not going to really talk too much about that right now. But we advise there's been uptick in crimes throughout the city. It's been committed by majority of juveniles right now. That's one of the biggest things that I'm running into right now. These are juveniles. The last shooting we had, juvenile. The last shooting we had on Royal Drive, juvenile. The last few burglaries that turned violent, burglaries first degree, juveniles. These are juveniles that we've been continuing trying to get a take on that. And so we've been working with our school resource officers to be able to identify some of these juveniles and able to start making some arrests. But just be advised that just keep an eye on the young ones around here, whether your sons, daughters, cousins. You know, listen, we all Black here today. You know, play cousins, whoever you want to call them in your family. Just kind of keep an eye on them as well as the company that they keep. So that's the issue that I've personally run into quite a bit in the past few weeks. That's what I pretty much have to report on right now. So, any questions or concerns at this time?
We thank you, sir. Thank you for your service. We appreciate it.
Or anything for code enforcement team? Have they come in yet? Or
I didn't see her. Did you see her up here?
I'll tell you what. Is there any code enforcement questions I can take on their behalf? Anything for code enforcement that I can pass on?
I think they did pretty good at cleaning up.
Yeah,
Yes,
they're
they know.
working on that.
Cleaning
They
up.
working on it?
And, Jason has come up with that. And,
Okay. All right. Well, if it comes to a point where you can't go contact us, just shoot me a call. And as soon as I get stats for the deal, if I get it tomorrow, I'll just shoot the email sometime.
Okay.
Well, if there is an answer.
I have a question. First question, what's the rule on fires, like pit fires in the city?
There's literally a assistant chief fire right there.
Okay.
I'm not even trying, I'm not even being funny, like, he's literally right there.
I
It's all good, man, he's literally right there.
Hey, but he ain't on the podium.
So, one of the things I love about learning from awesome people such as Assistant Chief of Fire, man, is utilizing your resources properly. And that's me using my resources,
Right.
knowing that he's better equipped.
I'm just saying, well, there's some fire pits in the front yards, and I saw a fire actually, I don't know where, right here on the, by the ditch, but, yeah.
Somebody set the fire outside the end.
There's a fire going in the ditch, and then the house right next to me had a fire going in a barrel in the front yard.
I think right next to you, they burn the wires, they cut off the wires.
Okay.
Different wires up?
Yeah, they cover, they cover it.
Yeah, they got a little
Oh, so they
junkyard
can sell it.
operation
Oh, so
going
they can sell
yeah.
it. Oh, wow.
Well, they stay in the house now, huh?
So,
Don't forget the
Yeah,
sign.
right
Sign.
our awesome assistant fire, Deputy, you met it, Deputy, you have an answer?
Sure. So as far as burning, the city ordinance is there is no burning. Unless you're dealing with, cooking fires. So if people are burning materials such as, wiring, trash, just random debris. You can call the fire department. We actually just got a call in front of, Exo Lounge, people burning to stay warm. So, I tell people, it's, again, the city ordinance is not something that we crack down heavily on. We just ask people to kind of do it responsibly. I know that people sometimes burn, this wood or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And so, for us, as long as it's cooking fire, you can have something, put it, if you're cooking hot dogs, whatever it is. But if you're burning trash and stuff like that, just call the fire department. We'll come out there. Typically, just make sure that they extinguish it in front of us. And if they are repeat offender, then we'll, get some other people involved.
Yeah.
But there's supposed to be no burning.
Yeah, I don't know, because it's sort of random assortment of things I think getting burned, so it's like a health issue too, like I don't know what chemicals on what's getting burned. Yeah, okay, that's it. Yeah, thank you. And then I had another question, this is for you.
Oh, this is me now, okay.
When it comes to just the work with the juveniles, is there anything that the North Charleston Police Department is doing to address particularly this uptick with the juvenile crime?
Saturdays for a start, as far as having gun violence, as far as something gun violence movie. Where I know for myself, we're in the process of trying to expand some of our more programs to work with as far as cash escalator programs. We're also looking to continue to partner with the nonprofits for better, more equipped with that. I know Positive Vibes, Roger Smith and all the boys are doing a great job over there. So we're trying to do a better job, just continue to work with them. At the same time, we did the warmer shelter, we got to the cold. So I fostered a few of the officers myself out there as well. So we're trying to continue to do partnerships like that. So if there's any other good ideas, I do work in community engagement programs, so I'm always open to hear other things from anybody as well. I do not have all of the answers, and I try not to always come off as if I do. So if there's any suggestions or any program I probably have a great idea, please let me know. Obviously, let Lieutenant Ryder Fox know, or Fox as well. We're always willing to hear to partner with people. He did literally this at the MUC today, with the children over here on Michigan Avenue, right down on the road to the Air Force Base. Spent a few hours with those kids, young and old, and actually sitting there and having, a conversation with them, and actually sitting down and actually having an actual conversation.
Sure.
So, but if you have any other recommendations, please let me know.
I have a question. Did you say that unemployment is part of the contributing factor?
I believe it's maybe not just unemployment, it starts at home. It starts at home in the environment, to me at least. Like, we can sit here and set up all these programs, the best we can for as a community, but it all starts at home. Kids that are unstable work environment at home, how you expect them to do the homework? If they're too stressed about the next meal, do they have clean clothes? Are they 14, 15 years old having to take responsibility as adults? there's so many different contributing factors. I don't want to just say it's only one. Here, everybody right now. That's so quiet, boy.
All right, because it's cold. Thank you so much, we
I got
appreciate you.
I'll see y'all later. I hope to see you guys on Saturday for the nonviolence movie over in the Cathedral, 2:00 on Ashley Farms Day, as well as the Black History Month program over the road. That's Saturday at 10 o'clock as well. Y'all have a good one.
I'll do it.
Thank you. Code enforcement sign here, right? So we will move on. And minutes. There's minutes on the table back there, and I have emailed everybody a copy of the minutes. So everybody should have a copy. Do we need to read the minutes? It's about 5 pages, I think. So, can I get a,
I make a motion that we accept the minutes as printed.
okay,
Second.
we have a motion to accept the minutes as printed and a second. Question? Vote. All in favor to accept the minutes as printed, say aye, raise your hand.
Aye.
Opposed, nay? No nays, so ayes have it. We accept the minutes as printed from our February meeting. Just to recognize a couple of people we have, Courtney Waters in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome. She won District 113, right?
The Democratic primary.
Oh, the primary, 113. For District 113.
Yeah, so March 25th is still the general election. There's nobody on the ballot, but Republicans could still do a write-in, so it's important that people come out to vote so we don't lose it by some sort of technicality.
Okay.
That's very important.
Yes,
Yeah, it's important because that could happen.
yes. So we'll be doing, because Mr. Q, I know you had some questions about it. We'll be doing some mail and text messages and things. We won't have as robust
Right.
an engagement, but I'm, still going around to the meetings and events and things like that, just to make sure people remember that. Still have to vote March 25th.
Right. Okay. And that's what's trying to be touched about. We just don't think it's over.
Yes, ma'am.
It's not over till it's over.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So thank you. Courtney Waters has worked with the DO over the past year, helping us with different events. She attend our events, she attend our meetings. So we want to thank her for her time. So we appreciate you. And then her faithful fiance, Christian, who's a fire chief at the.
One day.
Okay, well, we're
One day.
gonna
You
name
can keep
the
speaking
plan.
because I speak to myself.
Yeah, we want to help you speak.
So I'll just say, just on the fire side, if anyone needs any smoke detectors, that is a service that we provide to our citizens for free. The only thing you have to do is contact City Hall, and we will happily come by and install those things.
Oh, y'all installed too?
Mhm.
Yes.
We do a lot of smoke detector sweeps, specifically when we have like a fatality. And I know, I think last year we had a fatality over by Royal, the house that they tore down a couple months ago. So we're organizing with Red Cross to do a smoke detector sweep over in that area as well.
Okay.
Just to make sure, because often we go in these houses and we don't hear any type of smoke detectors or anything. And I mean, during the day, it's not really that big of a deal, but at night, those things save a lot of lives. So just making sure we do those things. Do you have any questions for the fire department?
There's older houses back behind the picnic, going back around that corner.
Yes, ma'am.
Hazel Street, and it might be better to check around there.
Okay, we did a sweep there, I think maybe 3 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. But since we had a fatality in that area again, we'll be going back through again just to make sure. And we are giving people 10-year lithium battery alarms instead of the 9-volt ones that you gotta replace twice a year. So you don't have to worry about it. So,
At my house.
one phone call away, you just call us, we'll do
I
that.
mean, so you're not just servicing certain areas?
No, all in North Charleston. I mean, I had a council member, I had some installed at their house this morning, and I had a neighbor who contacted me earlier today. And I just called the battalion chief and get somebody to go over there and install. Just-
Is there a limit per house?
No, I mean, typically, it's one per room. That's what they would want people to have, is one outside of every room. It's not necessary, but for their safety, that's what they recommend. And then we put them in common areas in the house as well. So it's not a limit. We just put it as much as recommended or as much as you want to know.
Appreciate that. I'll put the word in.
Okay.
And just to show you how God works, Christian family goes to grow. I didn't know his grandmother was Annie Green, and we all grew up together. Another connection to Liberty Hill. God sends people that help us, and we don't even know.
Awesome, that's great.
I see a new face in the house, so I just want to make sure I cover everybody.
Mrs. Streeter told me I better show up or else. No. I'm Martin Lane. I'm a Royal member,
Okay.
and I'm just here learning what's going on.
Wonderful.
Okay, awesome.
Welcome, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Street, for bringing it, bring some more too. We need representation from Royal Baptist Church. Beautiful, beautiful, I love it. Don't forget to sign in, and we have documents in the back. We will be reviewing our bylaws. And just know our bylaws have been reviewed by certified parliamentarians, and they do watch our meetings and critique us. So at the end of the day, we will be going over that because that's even a requirement for us to do for our grants. Next item is our financial report.
Good evening, I'm Nancy Mitchell, and I'm the treasurer for Liberty Hill Improvement Council. And I'm here to get the financial report. Our monthly balance for January ended at $8,985.41. We now, as of today, have $6,784.16 in our account. Most of the expenses went towards our office supplies. Also, we're mailing out brochures and newsletters to the community. Color brochures, which cost us over $850. We also sponsored several members and neighbors to go to the International African American Museum. Like I said, most of the expenses went towards the office supplies. Any questions? And I am here to collect dues. Dues are $60 a year, $5 a month. And we have a Cash App, and I love this Cash App because when I send it out, people online send me money, so I'm gonna send it out again. And it's $LHIC dues 1871. Again, $LHIC dues 1871. So we thank you for sending in your dues.
Okay. Okay, committee reports. Historical Society, are you on Zoom and able to give a report?
Is Sister McFadden?
Is she on there? Sister McFadden?
She's on there, I don't know.
Conda is? Is she on
If
mute?
you're talking, you on mute.
Conda, take off mute. She disappeared.
Never was supposed to be $50. So when you treat it, okay. You do something.
The only thing that Historical Society is going to list now is the flyer in the back in reference to
Golden Dreams.
Rather, can you make sure that everybody get a copy of that?
Yes, ma'am, we'll announce it again with the announcement.
Okay. That and the that's coming up,
Okay.
parade.
Did you
But
get
right
these
now,
things?
we're pushing,
No, you have
what
one there. I have
that
Jack,
having,
Ford, Cole,
events that
and
come
Uncle
out of that
Short.
oil,
Milk,
have
oh,
stand.
Melon Collins. Okay, yeah, those three. Okay. All right,
Okay?
gotcha.
So they have a Juneteenth, it's June 19th. We have a parade and, they will have something at Fields Picnic Park afterwards. And then April 26th, right?
Yes.
They will, be scanning, historical documents. So if you have, photos of family members, even obituaries, because obituaries have so much history in them. They have photos and they have names and everything and.
On the flyers, they'll tell you what you can scan and what you cannot scan.
Okay, and we have those flyers in the back, so please, pick up the flyer. But we need that information, it's so valuable, as we document our living history. Okay. Redevelopment group?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Good evening. This is Craig Mitchell from the redevelopment group. The board, we had a board meeting on last Monday. Well, actually, yeah, this Monday. And we actually went out and we surveyed the land that we just purchased. And we're about to clear the land. We're going to begin clearing it on Friday, the 28th of February, and also Saturday, March the 1st. And we're going to begin clearing the land so that we can begin the process. So we are excited about that, and we're going forward to do some great and wonderful things. And prayerfully, we'll have our first resident over in the house by, let's say, I don't know, July or August. Prayerfully. And I say again, prayerfully.
And I brought a binder of some of the suggestions or streetscape for that area that the redevelopment group is working on, and then the map that we got from 1946. It's in that book called Community Designs and Suggestions.
Okay, so on that thing, we have looked at a family that's been doing great and wonderful things in the community for a very, very, very long time, especially in the homegoing of residents of all over the North area. And it's the Hilton family. And we would like to, as we build the houses, we would like to name a street over there where we're going to build either Hilton Street, Hilton Lane, or Hilton
Avenue.
Avenue. And we've contacted the Hilton family of our intent. And as soon as we get back, they get back with us, and we'll see about doing that.
Any questions? All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Reunion group, is anybody from the reunion group there? Is Carolyn Bartley there, or Gina?
Only Ms. McQueen is the only other person.
So just because the reunion group's not here, please mark your calendars, September 19, 20, and 21. We will be having our biannual reunion this year. And it's usually a 3-day event. Our first day is usually praise and worship evening. Our second day is usually picnic in the park. And sometimes we have seminars and have families do displays. And then our third day is a banquet for the community. And we usually have it at Royal. We have it on the Royal's calendar to have.
What's the title again?
The title for is our Liberty Hill Reunion. Yes. And we actually get about 400 to 500 people that come every other year.
What's the date as well?
September 19, 20, and 21. And that's the weekend that Mayor Summian signed in as, Liberty Hill Day is like on the 17th, so we can say that's the Liberty Hill weekend for the city.
Ms. McQueen, you have a question?
Somebody else?
Ms. McQueen? Did you have a question?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay. Any questions about the Liberty Hill reunion?
What was the days, you said the first day is what?
Yeah, she's president. And the second day is, picnic in the park. We also have, like seminars that day, where there's, how to, develop a will, and, genealogy, how to develop a family. And then we have vendors. And then Sunday, we have a banquet. And this year, the banquet, usually, with the reunion, our banquets are free to the community. Once again, we usually have about 400 people. Every other year, other than the reunion year, we have a gala, and that's the year that we charge as, and create fundraisers to bring in money. So we can spend money, for the reunion next year. Any questions? Just to even kind of touch on the reunion group plans our activities. So every month they try to have some type of event, whether it's a fish fry or we have a splash party at the pool for the kids, or they help with back to school, but anything to keep the community engaged. So when we do come together to make decisions about the historical zoning overlay or affordable housing overlay, we all have developed a relationship. But back in the day, everybody had a relationship because everybody was related. And we all even did excursions with our different churches together. Now that our community is a little more disjointed, we try to bring everybody back where we can, our community can get together. And the Improvement Council, of course, we work with all the different groups. We also have Liberty Hill Alliance, and that consists of about 10 nonprofits that's working on the hill, for the hill, for the betterment of the hill. We just elected our new Alliance chair, and that's Ms. Allison Hilton, so we welcome you. And our co-chair is Dexter Wright for the Liberty Hill Alliance. So Dexter's very faithful with all of us. Trust me, we pull on him on all of our organizations because he's here and he's willing. And he's been doing a wonderful job for all of us, as well as cleaning up the community. So we just thank God for him. And he's definitely a godsend.
Yes.
So we do meet the second Friday of every month right here. We may be doing Zoom a little more. Allison, she works a lot and she has other obligations, so she may be doing it through Zoom, and we'll be sending it out to the heads of the organizations to attend. Okay. Any other committees that I missed?
Who meets the second Friday? I missed that. Which committee meets the second Friday?
Yeah, second Friday of every month.
Which committee is that?
That's the Liberty Alliance, and it usually combines the presidents and vice presidents of each organization that's part of the alliance.
Thank you.
Madam President,
Yes?
is the ombudsman still there?
Yes, yes.
Mr. Ombudsman, Chef, the Liberty Hill Redevelopment Group, we have a request for, if you can look into it for us. As we begin to clean our lot, there is a easement, and I think that easement belongs to the city. And if we can call upon the city to see if the city can assist us in cleaning that easement or right of way, so that you all have a machine that's vital to our efforts. And if you could assist us in doing
Yes, sir. I'll get with Dexter. He'll send me the information.
God
And,
bless you, Chair, but I sure do appreciate it.
thank you, yes, sir.
That map, I guess he would need to see that map, so
Yeah,
we have a map.
I'll show you that. Okay.
Yeah, the map is in that book back there.
Okay.
Political action, since Courtney's here, anything we need to know,
Well,
politically?
yeah, I think there's a lot that everybody needs to know about,
This is, we gonna give you the floor.
yeah, about this session. Well, a few things.
Excuse me, would you mind going to the podium, please?
Oh, no, I don't
So
mind.
they can see you online. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, in terms of what's happening this legislative session, I think the biggest thing, it's interesting, the first couple of weeks of session, not much happened on the House side. But a lot was brewing on the Senate side, particularly around vouchers. And I'm speaking not as an insider in this moment because I'm not sworn in, just as someone who's gone up there, because of course, we're unrepresented until April. We don't want to, well, whoever, it should be me, not a Republican, but whoever wins doesn't need to get up there and not know what's happening. So I've been going and sort of staying attuned to what's happening. And the biggest things that have left the Senate chamber so far, the vouchers bill, we know that that was declared unconstitutional last session. However, it went back to the Senate, and their version of the bill, S62, actually determined that funds could be used from the education lottery to pay for private schools. That version was not adopted in the same way as it's reached the House floor this week. And actually, the chair of Education Public Works, who's Shannon Erickson, decided that she would actually send it back out coming from the general operating fund. And her goal in that, as I was reading, is to either be successful this time or get the blueprint for how to make it successful next time. So the long and short is the Democrats really don't have a dog in this fight with a Republican supermajority. So there will be, at some point, whether this session or next session, funding going from public schools into private schools. But the reason that I bring it up, while Democrats don't have a dog in the fight, there was a suggestion made at the Supreme Court level the last time that the General Assembly actually put this out to the public to vote on. The Republicans decided they weren't going to do that. And so I do think that as this bill is being discussed, there is still a need to write letters and talk about the fact that the community, the state needs to decide how the funds are going to be spent. Because essentially the legislature is just unilaterally deciding that they're going to continue to deconstruct the system. And I think what else is really important to just pay attention to is how the state is taking and interpreting the executive orders. Of course, we know that we have not had successful DEI, anti-DEI legislation on South Carolina books, just a budget proviso for the last several years. And actually, Mr. Lane's wife, Audrey, and several others were at the helm of fighting that back through the Pro-Truth Coalition. But right now, what we have is executive orders coming from DC, which really don't have a lot of power because the Department of Education does not actually decide what kids learn, but states do. So what our state has done is taken from that executive order and created a bill that is circulating now in the House that they will likely vote out to make sure that we have to teach that this nation is a meritocracy, that we cannot teach that people have been disadvantaged, disenfranchised by nature of who they are, that we cannot allow in schools for it to be taught that one group is inherently oppressive, toward another. And I think that ultimately, it's important to recognize that when you vote for someone, that is the basis level of what you can do. Because any elected official going to South Carolina State House as a Democrat is able to lift voice and certainly able to talk about funding and things like that, but we cannot make decisions because we don't have the numbers there. And so I think it's important in this moment, more important than ever, to be getting up some political action going in whatever groups that are coming together, because the federal government is being dismantled. And what that means for a state like South Carolina is that there will be devastating impacts to healthcare, education, and all of these things, because Republicans in this state just don't care about those things. But they do matter even to their constituencies. And so I think it's just time for folks to get active. I won't stay on the soapbox too long, but my intention is just to stay connected so that people have whatever information is coming, because we need to be able to understand how the state is operationalizing these things that are coming down from the federal government. We think they don't impact us, but they're really just emboldening the Republican legislature here to put those things into action on a local level. And the very last thing that I would say, just naming, and I know I'm like on record, but me and Ms. Valerie have talked about the fact that we don't have representation, and it's time for earmark funding proposals and things like that. And so I am trying to talk to some of the other legislators to see if we can make sure Liberty Hill doesn't get forgotten or left out just because we don't have representation until April.
Okay, yeah, because I know they said about the forms that the forms won't be out until March.
Until March,
Is that
yes,
right?
ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
when you get them, will you send them, or do we have to still contact?
So I would contact, but I will be up there next Tuesday.
Okay.
I will find out. Really, the path is Dion right now, because he's our state senator and he is sworn. He's the person that we have to call about it. And so my intention is to make sure that we stay on it, because I know he's going to get a lot of requests from a lot of different areas, but we do need to make sure that District 113 gets some of the pot, whether we have a House member or not. So I'll check on that and just be in touch with you.
Okay. Okay. And then if we write letters from our community, do we send them to you, or do we send them straight to the state?
So you can, okay, let me send something in writing. I think you have to send it directly to the committee. So Education and Public Works is actually who's hearing the voucher bill right now, still in committee. And so I believe it would go to Shannon Erickson, or there's probably a box, an address for Education and Public Works Committee. I just don't know what that is exactly. So I'll keep that in mind as my to-do to get to you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And thank you for your service.
Absolutely.
We have a question.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
I just want to piggyback, we complain about who's doing what, but E3 Foundation is doing a lot of good work.
Yes.
And I think it's very important that we go and check E3 Foundation, is it
E3.
E3foundation.org or whatever.
.org, yes.
.org.
It's the E3.
Right, yeah.
So it's THEE
Right.
3group.org. You heard about it? This is his wife.
They're doing
Oh, okay.
Who's a mentor of mine. And she's a doctor. She used to work.
Well, they both already met her, and she goes wrong.
But they're doing a really good job, and we really need to support them. They need money. It takes money, but it also takes numbers, because when you go up and speak to these legislators, they ask what is the size of your membership? So we really need to support what they're doing. They're doing a great job. And also, Kasia is doing a great job too. They do a lot of community work. So we need to make sure we really support these organizations by donating money. It takes money. This stuff is not done for free, and with them running back and forth to Columbia, with Cajun putting out information, it takes money. So even if you don't want to become a member or attend the meetings, at least make a donation. You can go online and do a donation to either one of those organizations.
Very good. And just to let you know, we did put in for earmark money last year. Of course, we did not get it. So this year we will be repeating that. Darvis did sign off on the earmark money last year, so we're hoping to get maybe to the antenna this time this year. Thank you. We have Audrey would like to speak, but let me see if she'll call in.
Ms. Hilton, if you can unmute her on Zoom or ask her to unmute. She's on Zoom.
Really?
That's what she
Let
said.
me send her the Zoom link.
She said that, she's on there.
Audrey?
That's what she said.
She's on live stream. So we have two different platforms going on. Let me send her the Zoom link. Excuse me. Audrey, on this one?
She said she was on both.
She's on both? No, I never sent her the link, so
Maybe somebody else sent it to her.
let me get the.
Ms. Hilton, do you see her on there?
No.
Audrey?
Okay, you go next one. What did you say? Okay, good. So we don't have ombudsman. You have some information for us? about the grocery store on the south end, well.
No. So Mayor Burgess wanted me to pass along some information to people, so asking the same question they've been asking for years, when are we getting a grocery store? And so they had, I'll hold it for you. You didn't know you came for a reason.
All right, she's supporting. That's important. Take it away. Well, actually started, some of you may see this, and a lot of our requests have been for the south side. As you know, there's not been a grocery store in the south side, and for many reasons. I don't have to really get into that part, but here, we've already moved fast forward a little bit. Here's some trajectories to some stores that are actually in our, can you see? Am I blocking?
No, you're not.
Here are some stores that are in our trajectory that we've been talking to. Now, and people don't realize that when you talk at a grocery store, you know, you hear people sometimes, and Ms. Waters will actually understand this, they declare the world in 1 month, a year. You know, they can turn water into wine in 2 seconds, but actually, it really doesn't happen like that. I used to be one of those ones who say, why don't they just give them a grocery store? Well, it just doesn't work that easy. But there's a lot of things that's happening on the south side that I think that's going to appease a lot of people. So I'll just go to the shortness of it that I thought you were going to talk about. What you see here is the actual average funding that each grocery store needs a week in order to come here. So Sam's Club, I'm trying to get back over here. Sam's Club, I don't want to get it where in the camera. Sam's Club wants $2.1 million to come here a week. That's what Sam's wants. Walmart, $1 million. Publix, $960, and so on and so forth. What we've done was, through our studies, what the mayor would love to see happen is stay in the upper echelon of this list. For an example, you know, which Sam's is kind of out right now, based upon not just the money, but based upon the property that we have. So how it works is this: for a grocery store to be here, for us to have a grocery store here, the city doesn't buy a grocery store. We don't put grocery store, because if we did, we'd have to manage it, we'd have to do all that stuff. But what we do is we find investors or stores that would love to come in the area, and then where we have vacant property, we deed it to them. That makes sense? So we kind of deed the property to them. There's property that's behind, where Old Winn-Dixie used to be, for those of you familiar. Their property belongs to the city. So we've been looking for a grocery store that we can kind of deed it to. So the two that are actually, well, all of them are biting on it. The biggest one has been H&L and Save-A-Lot, but the mayor said not so. He wants something that's going to be competitive, that's going to be, futuristic stuff, that's going to bring a multi-services, such as a Walmart. So right now, we're actually looking at Walmart, kind of in the top running, Walmart, Publix, because he wants one that has not just groceries, but the wraparound, pharmacies, the whole 9 yards, that when you go there, you can have it, get all this, one-stop shop, pretty much is what we're looking at. So the key areas right now is where the Winn-Dixie used to be, okay? Then behind where they're putting that, that old hospital, used to be kind of right there for Sproul and McMillan, where the old Navy hospital used to be. Behind there, that property there, they're looking at that as well. So what's going to kind of be the deciding factor too is, I know you know by now, the Coast Guard is coming to this area. So what happens is the AMI, which is the annual monthly income, pretty much, of families, right? It's kind of low, not kind of low, it's low. It kind of is low, to be honest. So hoping when the Coast Guard and those folks are coming in, it will push that AMI up, okay? And then it will allow the better choice, which his choice right now, that he really would love to have would be Walmart. Okay, that's what he'd really love to have down there. Walmart is interested in it. Publix is pretty much body and Food Line. Piggly Wiggly as well, okay, but Piggly Wiggly doesn't give you the wraparound service that they love to have. And so, in a nutshell, that's kind of like what they're looking at. It's going to happen, it's not going to happen tomorrow, nor the next day, okay, all right? I promise you, Ms. Waters already have won the election by the time it happens. You would have already won the election. But that's pretty much what's happening with the grocery store situation in a nutshell. I don't want to give you too much to digest, but hopefully this stuff will start turning. A lot of things are happening, but a lot of things are happening in that area that's gonna really, I mean, just boom. And I might as well say to you, get ready, because you're not gonna be able to stop it. The snowball is rolling. Off of that, between Cosgrove and, Cosgrove and McMillan. If you notice, there's a lot of construction work going on there. Out there is that dock. Now that dock has already been pretty much open, because hopefully soon it'll be, what did we talk about? Was it Princess? The Princess and the Caribbean Cruise Line is actually trying to lobby to have that spot. And so it's pretty much kind of a done deal. We won't say too much over yet, but it's kind of a done deal. And the reason why that's good for us, folks are saying, oh, too much coming to the area. We gotta get the AMI up down in that area. Okay, and the good thing I love about it is whatever store that we use, we're gonna put a substation, a police substation in it. Because if you don't, it'll be closed after about a month. Yeah. Because I remember coming here, when Dick said shopping cart, you couldn't find a shopping cart.
Has there been talk about which location would be better when considering the rapid transit?
Yeah, that was a great question. That's why we're actually trying to lean toward the part that's behind the Old Navy Hospital. That's why we're trying to lean toward that, because if you don't, you all know about the rapid transit that's coming to Charleston. Should I say that part? Okay. No, I'm gonna say that part. Okay. But it would be better, because if not, and you put it where the old Winn-Dixie used to be, then that's where it's gonna kind of run into kind of a traffic jam situation, kind of like. And that's one of the things you look at too: safety, space, all of that's in county. So right now, the leading area is behind that area, which you all know that building's been sold. It's gonna be apartments and stuff going there, the Old Navy Hospital. And so that's what's gonna happen there. But, and I see the one that says, oh my God, too much people. But at the end of the day, I'm being honest with you, money runs this thing. It's gotta be honest with you. I don't know.
Do the mixing apartments and townhomes get included in Liberty Hills average income?
No, not necessary. And I won't say no, because, but they're run by an HOA, okay, pretty much Mixon. And so the income that Mixon has, they're not Park Circle, but then again, they're kind of Park Circle. That makes sense. See? So
they're not close enough to help you get the numbers you want for Walmart or for.
Well, because it's not based upon us. If it's up to us, we said, okay, we got the Mixon, because everybody's gonna come. We count everybody. Because at the end of the day, once your grocery store is there, people are gonna come from everywhere. I'm just being honest with you. But at the end of the day, these grocery stores does their own independent kind of survey, and they look at what is they call, we call the South Side, kind of in that area parameter. That's kind of how they look at it. You see what I'm saying? And so where I can say yes, I don't want to say yes now because the store is not there. You see what I'm saying? So and based upon the coloration of the mixing, we don't know. Okay, but because it's going to be close enough, they're going to come. But the business, the stores and stuff, is we can't tell them, oh, we got the mixing, so come on in. Make sense?
No.
Okay, so to try to clarify, so when you look at like if you break up the city, break up the south end of North Charleston, right? And you look at Park Circle, you look at Mixon, and you look at, most people look at the house increase and like more people moving in, higher prices, whatever. But when you look at the population of the south end of North Charleston, majority of it is below the median income base, right? And that's the higher population. So when they are coming in to do their studies, they're not basing it off of that small percentage of people who may or may not go to that Walmart. They're basing it off of the majority average of the income throughout the south side of the city, which cuts off from roughly about
Durant.
Yeah, Durant on down.
Because North Charleston is divided into 3 sections. You have your north, your central, and your south. So the mixing is kind of like in the central of North Charleston. So for you and I who are sitting here, we would say, oh, they're part of us. But for those that are doing the grocery store studies, as he just did, they're looking at the south side of this area. That's pretty much what they're looking at.
It's literally like looking from here to and to the height. It's like looking from here to the.
Yeah, Joppa Street, somewhere down there.
So the other question is, if you do have a grocery store here, you would put pressure on West Ashley, and most people in Park Circle go to Daniels Island to shop, or they go to West Ashley for the grocery stores. Those, like a Publix, the Publix are in both West Ashley and Daniels Island, as an example, that doesn't disincentivize them to move here?
Well, yes and no. Again, as Deputy Chief, did I say right? I know Chris would look well on the radio with me. But again, it's like they look at what is in their. They look at it as if what's in the parameters of what they're looking at. So for you and I, and you are right. Once a grocery store get there, I promise you, West Ashley is coming, even Daniel Island is coming, but based upon what quality we put there.
Okay.
See, if you put a Save-A-Lot back, you already got a Save-A-Lot, but if you put a Save-A-Lot H&M, they're not coming. But if you put a Sam's, Publix, something of that nature in that area, they're gonna come. And might I say this too? Once the Coast Guard opens up down here, you'll have the AMI that you need, even with them, because the Coast Guard, their base is coming right there off of Macmillan, Sproul Avenue, Burton Lane. That's where the hub of this thing is coming. Now the Coast Guard is going to bring all of their cutters right here in North Charleston. All of them are coming. That's their headquarters, central headquarters is going to be right here in North Charleston. See, and as we talked about choosing to meet with us, people don't realize what's the number one thing that the Coast Guard is looking for. People think it's a grocery store, and some will think a liquor store, but we praying for them. But the number one thing that they're looking for, what are they looking for? That's it.
No childcare.
Childcare. That's what they're looking for.
So they're moving from downtown from Trash Street up here.
Yeah, you mean the
Cross Guard.
Yeah.
Moving from Trash Street.
But right.
That's
But,
prime
well,
property.
I like the way she said it.
That's prime
They're
property.
actually getting kicked out.
They're prime property. But the other thing that these people look at is the traffic count, but they also look at the level of education.
Oh, yeah.
When they talk about how much money you got to spend, what's your disposable income?
Mm-hmm.
So they're gonna look at the education level of traffic count. There's so many different factors that they
It's a
look
lot.
at before they come in, not just, of course, the average median income is important. But again, the central area probably has the lowest average median income in any area in North Charleston. So that kind of brings it down, even though Park Circle and Nixon, we bring it up, that brings it down. And then the education level is another thing, so.
That's why a lot of folks didn't understand what the mayor was doing, and a lot of communities got upset when he actually, we had, was it 90? I can't remember if it's complete or not. But when he started saying we're gonna put a community center in Liberty Hill, not Liberty Hill, Union Heights, and then up here off of Dorchester Terrace and the Whaler, because we had to spend that money before the end of last year, or we would have lost it, the TIF money. So immediately we looked at, the committee looked at, okay, what is the oldest, or what is not the oldest, but where can we go right now and not have to go through, some of the loopholes. So at that time, Union Heights and Dorchester, who don't have anything.
Right.
And if you think about it from Durant, and I didn't realize that, from Durant downtown, there is no community school.
Yeah. I think it was a great idea.
And so he had to do something right away. The committee had to do something, and that was one of the things that they did. But the grocery store is going to be a plus. It's going to happen. Really going to happen.
What is Coast Guard cut?
I believe now, they've had a couple of dates, so I don't want to give you one concrete date, but actually this year was supposed to be when that was supposed to happen. And the Princess and all of them, that's almost a done deal. Pretty much it's a done deal. Yeah. A couple of months ago, right? Because they're using the old landing that was there when they what is it called, the submarine landing. That's the landing that they're using. So it's already equipped. So it's not like downtown where they had to go do this and do that. No, that's already set. Yeah, everything is there.
With Coast Guard, the eventual grocery store, and even the old new hospital being purchased, it's clear like this part of North Charleston is becoming urbanized. My question is, what are we doing as far as the people who are below that median income who currently are here? How do we hedging against what happened downtown happening here as we build our downtown?
or we're praying Ms. Waters will get in the chair, have all kind of great ideas for us. No, it's a good question. Whew.
There's a lot of city-owned property.
It is.
That can be built up and urbanized alongside this private development. So I'm kind of wondering from the urban planning standpoint, what are we doing?
There are some things that have been, kind of talked about that I don't want to say now until the mayor comes and says it's okay to say that. But attainable, affordable housing is in, I'll say this, is in some of the language or the conversation that if we do this, then this needs to happen for our people. And I'll leave it right at that and let him come in and say the rest.
And I'll just second that. Everything that I've heard Mayor Burgess mention about development in the city, tagged along with it is affordability.
Oh, yeah.
Because one thing, as you said, one thing we don't want to do is repeat the same thing that we happened and start squeezing our people further and further from the city.
Right.
And every bit of development I've heard them mention or plan, it's always been attached to making sure that the people of North Charleston stay home.
Right. And that's important. I kid you not, that's important.
There are, I was hearing from one of the developers that does residential, who's developing a lot along Clements Ferry Road, just Tuesday. And one of the things that they've done, which I'm like, I'm wondering why we don't have more takers here, is all of the new subdivisions they built, and there have been at least 2 along Clements Road, and then there's been a couple of others in Mount Pleasant. They've done a 25%.
Right.
So 4 different levels of AMI that are being catered to. So for instance, if a person's at 50% AMI in Mount Pleasant, that might mean that they're making $50,000 a year. So if a person making $50,000 a year can reasonably qualify for about a $220-something thousand home. And so there are organizations that are coming in, if this home is actually $339,000, that are saying, I'll give you $50,000 that you don't have to pay back toward closing. I'll give you another, and they're sort of building that package to account for that gappage. And so one thing is definitely having conversations with developers to make sure, and I think the city would do, to second what they said, I think that, any developer coming in and trying to build housing here, I think that Mayor Burgess would be very clear that there has to be some affordability. But then even to qualify for a $200,000 house, you have to be at a certain level. And so I do think that some of these programs, like what they're doing at the 218 exit, where they're going in and actually repairing roofs and windows, because one of the things that pushes people out, like people talk about the taxes a lot of times, but it's often maintenance. If somebody comes and dangles $60,000 in your face and you needed 10 or 20 to fix your roof, you're gonna take the 60 instead of being 10 or 20 in the hole. And so I do think that some of these federal grants are gonna be really important, and there is, and this isn't, I don't want to say that it's going to cover everybody. But I think that working with the city of North Charleston, and there are a couple of firms that specialize in getting government funding for some of these areas. And for me, Lincolnville and Liberty Hill are priority because they're historic, because they're settlement communities. And so I do hope to be able to come back with some information. And then there are also more senior members of the House who directly said, there are things we can do about gentrification, so come have a conversation with me and we'll talk about it. So to your point, I've got a laundry list. The Liberty Hill, Lincolnville gentrification issues are at the top because there are things that can be done now, but we have to do them soon before everybody gets pushed out. But some of that stuff, like the 218 project, are really important to keep people in their homes and, where they wouldn't be able to afford to replace, to do some of that maintenance themselves.
And I appreciate you saying that, because I think with all these commercial development and the new tax bases that's happening around us, I would love to see the city being very proactive in subsidizing affordable housing purchasing. DC does it, but DC was late to the game. I mean, DC giving folks as much as $85,000 to buy a home because homes are so expensive, but that's after Chocolate City became Lock City. And so, I just will hope that the city is being proactive and thinking about, as this new tax dollars are coming in, interesting ways in using new TIFs. How does that go directly towards subsidizing affordable home purchasing? Because a lot of people, they make a lot, the cities get big, they make all this money, and then they try to do all this stuff on the back end. And it's like the exceptional, examples, right? We have a couple people on the street we got affordable homes, but the overwhelming majority do not live in the city.
That is an awesome statement you made. And I will say this, that as we speak, the mayor right now is in, out of town. And you know what he's doing? He's meeting with developers who understands the need of the South Side. See, I'm not blaming anyone. I'm not from Charleston, but I've been here long enough. My grandmama pastored church on Liberty Hill, back up in the House of God Church. My Elder Mary Ann, that's my grandmother. 10 Mile Hill, my grandma was the presiding elder there. I was a percussion player. I was a drummer. I was a youth coordinator for 9 churches in Charleston area alone. What I'm saying is that before now, okay, I'll say, before this administration, the other folks, it was just everything focused on that area. He knows that. Everything was focused on that particular area. What the mayor's doing is, and you have to understand, he's coming in after a 32-year veteran. I mean, it's like a rookie coming behind Tom Brady. They expect him to win a Super Bowl as soon as he put a suit on. You see, so to what you're saying, and I will say this, even on camera, this mayor understands, as Ms. Gordon said, he understands attainability. You know, because it's not good enough to put you in a house and you're going to be out of it. He understands education. You understand? So that's why he's pressuring the nonprofits about wraparound service. He's telling them, just don't tell them, you know, about, you know, not shooting and all of that, but let them know if you put down the guns, pick up a book, you know, pick up this, then these are the things that can happen. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, a great comment, and I understand it. And I'll make sure you hear that too.
And just to piggyback, and I don't know if Mr. Craig want to address this, the video development had.
Oh.
Sir?
I certainly do, and I'm really, really glad that the conversation we had
Okay.
on tonight, because Liberty Hill Redevelopment Group was established nearly 4 years ago, and what we're trying to do is establish a track record. We've done 60 homes as far as renovation, now we're going to the building piece. And if we can get, well, what's happening is we compete against other nonprofits for these dollars. The other nonprofits who have an established track record, they beat us most of the time. If we can get a chance to show that we can build affordably, and we will do it, and we can bring young people of childbearing years back to Liberty Hill so that we can regrow the community. And that's a goal that we're looking at. So if you, Madam Representative, and I see that prophetically as you're going to win that seat, and as you go in and money's become available, please, and I heard you mention Liberty Hill several times. If we, a small nonprofit, can get some of that funding, so that we can build these houses, because we're going to build houses on Liberty Hill, we're going to rebuild businesses, we're going to build it back a whole lot better than it was. And we have already started, and as long as we can get some funding, we have plans. I mean, we really have plans. And if anyone wants to see, we have 4656 Gator Avenue, and we have plans that we can do a whole lot of things, but we really need some money.
And that's what we put the earmark money in for, to help subsidize some of those homes too.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're building $500,000 homes here on Liberty Hill, and you have to make $139,000 to afford that. So nobody, who in North Charleston, I think the median income, the highest is, I think it's 69,000.
Yeah.
But on Liberty Hill, it's 45 to 54,000. So they can't afford $500,000 house. Who's building the houses are nothing but investments.
Yeah.
And they don't give a care about us. They don't care how the houses look. They put them up in 3 months and 2 months. And they rush now that they know we're making changes.
Yeah.
We already heard they ran to get their permits. They work at night.
Yeah.
Right? Dexter, with lights to hurry up
I mean, you know.
to get those houses built. So, we're behind the 8 ball. And so we're going to fight for every dollar.
And I don't want to open up this can of worms, but hey, everybody know the Airbnb market is crazy. We just had a meeting tonight about it, and they had to the board had to decide to put a cap on it, because people are getting houses and they're not there for them to stay in, you know? Crystals go to the house looking and saying, is John living here? Who got name is on it, but John is not who's living there, you know? And so, as Q said earlier, man, we have to start educating ourselves about what's happening, you know?
And be active.
I don't want to prolong this because I know it's getting late, but I do just have one question, because one thing that we did notice when we were canvassing, I mean, so we saw the new construction on the other side.
And there's
Yes, yeah, we saw the
two
new
houses sitting like this. They can stick their head in, one didn't touch each other.
1 foot between the property, one foot.
Yeah, and which is code I've learned about,
Adjusted code.
Nevertheless, one thing we did see was across the street from there were some young men. We were actually going to knock because the grandmother who was on the voter rolls. And the house was in disrepair. The grandmother had passed away, and they were just existing. I mean, they weren't doing anything wrong. But my concern is, like, those are the types of folks who would sell quickly if somebody came with some money. And so my question is for y'all, for the redevelopment organization, or just in general, what is the plan for, like, wrapping around to them and making sure that they hold what they got, because some funds, could be coming, because they would sell in a heartbeat. Yeah, so that's my question.
Because a lot of the grants we get, you have to be on the deed. That's the first thing. And some of the grants, you have to make a certain income. And so the young folks may not qualify.
And it's an age.
Yeah, that's like the one difference.
It's like,
So,
you critical there.
and if grandmama name's still on the deed, and, these other lawyers can probably finagle and get that cleared up, but these grants won't touch it.
But I think when I think about, thinking about the two things that Jeff said, when I think about like wraparound services, I think those, and I think about education, those are the things that I feel like we really need to really start investing in our community. Like, we know that we are already like slightly behind the 8 ball in this change. And if we don't educate our people, whether it's the senior community, like, hey, what is your plan with your home? Are you leaving it to someone? Who are you leaving it to? Help us help you, or help them qualify for this grant. You see what I'm saying? Like, if we don't pass all of this knowledge along, we're going to continue like kind of in this pattern of our properties just being just gone. And and I don't want to see places, I don't want to see settlement communities overtaken and forgotten about, and just have a historical marker is here was Liberty Hill.
Yeah.
Here was Liberty Hill.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if that is the drive behind this association, then there in everything that I'm going to say we, because we are people. Everything that we do in this community needs to be at the forward thinking of what we're planning for the future and protecting what we have.
A lawyer, she of course always chimes in, but she talked about the different types. So a lot of the properties, the heirs properties, they're still in grandmama, great grandmama name. So we did put in for a grant to help settle up some of those properties. And the ones that cannot be settled up right away, we're asking them to do a trust in the family's name. And you can rent it out, for 100 years and build generational wealth that way, and you can't build it. So we do need to educate our folks.
Yeah, we have to start trusting. We have to start trusting each other. Yeah. The only way we're gonna win is that we're gonna have to be fair and then work together. I was just telling someone the other day, I was talking about you, and I said, everybody who voted for the other young lady, we only got one choice now. Let's get on this bandwagon. That's the only way we're gonna win. Everybody we lose those races because we become prideful and angry. It's bigger than us. It's larger than because if you don't, we all lost.
And back in the day, that's all our grandparents and parents, they got behind one candidate. They would never split the vote. They all got in a little meeting, a little huddle, and said, okay, who's going to be the best candidate to represent us? Right. They got behind them. Yeah. They didn't have 2 or 3 people in the race. No.
So since I'm still in the contract, I'm gonna say this to you, right? But somebody in here will get it. So before somebody jump in the race against you, right? I can interview you on the radio now.
Hey.
See, but you better do it before somebody else jump in the race. If not, I gotta give both of them a okay? I'm about to mic on that, I'm about y'all have a good night. Thank you. Chris, you know,
Okay.
Audrey, get Audrey.
You got something else? Yes.
One thing, when President Biden was running for president, he came to South Carolina, he came to Royal, he said, if I win South Carolina, I will win the presidency. That's saying a lot, because he knew a formula that most of us don't know. And the formula is, if we engage in the process of voting, we have the amount of people to elect a president. So if we have that amount of people ready and available to vote, and we can get them out to do so, we can elect our new representatives. We just have to make sure that people go out and exercise that right, which is to vote. I digress.
All right. We have Audrey listed. Are you on the, Zoom? She wants to speak.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. I just want to give you a brief update of the property at 1660 Lewis Street. As you know, we've been cleaning it up and, for livability and beautification. And right now we're in the process of preparing to get it surveyed by Frostburg Surveying Company. Also, I'm working with my landscaper back there on going to the next level of building up that area, and I have him delivered some concrete that we had over by the cemetery where the trailer once stood that was, that was destroyed in flames. And he dug up all of that concrete over that side. And what we're going to do, we're going to crush it up so we can build up those low-lying areas where we're extending the cemetery and also on the property. So the new code enforcement woman that I'm going to contact her and let her know what I'm doing, because by her being new, she doesn't know. So I'm going to write her a letter and inform her of what we're doing back there on the property. And something else back there too I wanted to say. The debris that's still remaining back there that was left by his relative, it's just going to take some time for me to get rid of that, because it costs money. And also the dumpster that I need to get from Public Works, I may not be able to get them because they no longer distribute the dumpsters out. And I'm not complaining about that because Public Works has been very generous and working with me, give the property, help to get the property clean. So just give my landscaper to see if he can provide a dumpster so that debris can be removed and transported where it needs to go. So that vision here that I said, Liberty Improvement Council, and the redevelopment committee know what's going on with 1654th Street.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you so much. We just heard back from our Councilman Brandon Hudson. He's not able to make it, but he just wanted to give an update on, there was a major concern about Gaynor Avenue, that is a state road, but they're making moves to, have the county take it over. So that'd be wonderful, so it can be maintained. Because they have problems with the big trucks riding up and down. We got kids on that street and then they're damaging the roads. And then, short-term rental reform has passed through the committee tonight, so there will be no more short-term rental permits issued in our borough. So building homes, generational wealth, that's a blessing. Okay. And Al Steiner is still in negotiation, not under contract yet, but they are working on it. Okay. Al, most of you, I don't know if you know, but Al Steiner, we are asking for Al Steiner to be our visitor center, to have maybe a little diner in there that serve some of the foods that Al served. I think Ms. Carolyn probably knows some of the foods. I know they said that he served shrimp dinners and
Fried chicken.
Fried chicken dinners out of this world. So we want to bring some of that back. You know, it would be wonderful. Just put a bug in your ear. I would love to see Gillies come there and run that part of Alstein.
Yeah.
Because Gillies have it all, and their food is wonderful. So we're talking, we're putting buzz up there. And then it'd be, we'll sell Libbyville Craft and everything. All right, zoning over, any other committees that I miss? No, okay. I'm gonna dispense from the, because of the time, because it's gonna take about 30 minutes to go over these guidelines. Like I said, I have to go over guidelines, because of the grants we have, to be in compliance. And, if y'all don't mind, we'll table that until, next meeting. That's okay. Okay. All right, zoning overlay, historical zoning overlay and workforce housing, affordable, sustainable zoning overlay. Jerome, Allison, and Venetia, y'all can give us an update on where we are with that.
Quick time in. So, we've been talking about the zoning overlay for quite some time, and I wasn't at the town hall, but I know Allison broke down what the zoning overlay could entail and the variations of it. Our biggest thing, especially for those online as well, we just want folks to fill out the survey. We do have about 26 responses to the survey.
Did you get the numbers from the other surveys?
I didn't see the numbers for the other survey.
Okay.
But on the survey that we created, specifically asking questions about people's input on what they would like to see in the zoning overlay. From the responses that we have so far, and also note that if you fill out the survey online, if you do not click current landowner or current resident, you won't get asked a certain subset of questions about the zoning overlay specifically, because we know that if we were to make a zoning overlay that had restrictions per se on building requirements, that will affect people who own land and property on Liberty Hill. So we want to restrict people speaking on that to those who actually have property on the hill. But outside of that, one thing I just want to note is that just first review from the 26 responses that we have, almost everyone agrees that they want Liberty Hill to look and feel like Liberty Hill. But there's some interesting discrepancies on how we enforce that, right? Everyone believes that we should set maybe requirements on how many stories are built on Liberty Hill, but not everyone agrees that we should set requirements on square footage, or that we should allow limitations on the lot sizes. So we need input. We want people to have dissent, we want people to have opposing views, and we want to be able to talk about it, to think about what does it look like to propose an overlay to the city. That we can't say we want Liberty Hill to look and feel a certain type of way without putting certain things in place to ensure that. So anyway, so that being said, we are not acting as if we are the experts on this. Everything that we do will be in partnership with the planning department, but we want to come to them with ideas that actually is representative of the community and therefore we need more current residents and current landowners to fill out the survey. Outside of that, the second part of the survey is really just thinking about what types of businesses and things do folks want to see on Liberty Hill. I was really excited to see that people are really enthusiastic about having a coffee shop and or restaurants, event/venue space, and medical offices on Liberty Hill if possible. As far as activities, people said they'd like to see art exhibits, educational workshops, musical performances, and parades. As far as landmarks or things that we want to see physically on Liberty Hill, people said historical markers, memorials and fountains, and then street lighting was really big. And then as far as concerns that people have, as mentioned earlier today, people are concerned about renovations and being priced out and taxes. But again, this is 25 people's responses, not enough to really say that we know what the community wants. So please fill out the survey. And I know we're going to work on mailing the survey to folks as well, so people can fill it out.
So this is the survey you're talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
And there's copies in the back.
And I got your results online. And I appreciate it.
Okay, I'm at the capacity.
For those, not everyone knows how to scan a QR code or go online. Some people don't have access to go online to fill out the survey. Or they may have access and they just don't understand how to do it. So I want to print out hard copies. It's the same thing that's online, just hard copies. And I think it's about 400, maybe 420, 26. Okay. Yeah, copies that has to be sent out. I've printed everything. I just need help. We need help folding and envelopes to be printed out. So I went ahead, entered all the addresses in an Access database and also in Excel. So if you know how to do mail merge, or if you don't know how, it's a simple click of the button. Just load the envelopes into the printer and just run it. Valerie has envelopes and she has it on Gainer. Somebody can do, I'm just walking work. I can't do it.
We have volunteers to help. So what she's saying, we need to print out the envelopes with the addresses, we get all the names and stuff, she already has it loaded. And then I'll return address. And then we probably do a cover letter to put there who to respond back to, because we don't have that information on the survey. And then,
When do you need help? When do you need help?
I think we need to get it out within the next week. We're gonna have our, zoning overlay and stuff.
No, the label's already on it.
No, that's what I'm saying. They need somebody to do that.
About to break open.
Y'all can use the office, y'all can use the office at any time. So you got code. She has a code, and we get Allison the wrong code, wrong has a code. Anybody who's a member of the two council would have to go to the office to get in, to do the work. We have a huge printer there. I just did 990 brochures last week for our town hall. We have a folding machine down there to fold them. And then, of course, we have to hand stuff. But, so we just need the manpower. So we can get 3 to 5 people who be open. Yeah, if we have 3 to 5 people and do like assembly line, probably take probably an hour or so. We'll do. What's a good day for y'all? I know my Saturday, this Saturday is not good. Oh, Saturday afternoon for me is fine.
I can pop it up, like, Louis is busy, mine's like, I'm busy.
1 o'clock or 2 o'clock? I see, I should be finished by 1 o'clock on Saturday? And then we pull in some other people?
I'll be there.
1? 1? You do it, anybody else?
If I'm in town, okay, I may be out of town, but if I'm, I'll come.
Okay, 1 o'clock on Saturday. Okay, would that be a date, and we just put it out there for other people to join us 1 o'clock Saturday? I know we got some guys, I know that there's Naomi don't mind, and I'm Nancy don't mind, so we'll try to put one or two. Okay, so that's tentatively put 1 o'clock Saturday for stuffing envelopes. Printing and stuffing. Okay. And just to piggyback on what Jerome was saying, prior to that survey, we had put a survey on the internet, we asked the buildings, a lot of them from the union group of Moss Wilson, and to sign signatures that they agree, and we listed out what the zoning overlay was. And we had 337 verifiable signatures. And also we pulled in signatures from our signing after we presented the zoning overlay. This is our 5th time, actually. When I went back and looked at our signing sheets, this is our 5th time presenting this. So, so just know, and it's always online, too. So with that said, you know, we're compiling some of this we have done collected, and we still might have to go knock on doors, y'all, and make sure that they put it out, because I don't think they're gonna send it back. So that's what I'm saying, we're gonna have to have the address for them. Yeah. Because they're right here on Liberty Hill, we probably know about 20% of them. I think once we send it out, I think we also need to. Right Street? No. Williams? No. I told nothing about Liberty Hill streets. One of Liberty Hill streets over there? All right, we'll see, we'll take those out. Yeah. Okay. All right, any questions about that? Concerns? Okay. All right, well, with that said, then we'll just, yes,
Okay, on another man, I need to keep saying that on that picture where you show the 4 gentlemen, the man who's next to Ishmael Grant is my uncle, Gus Johnson. That is not Aaron Middleton. And I think a lot of people assume because there are 4 men up there that they're the 4 founders. But the guy, Gus Johnson, is my great-great-grandfather's uncle. And it's not Aaron Middleton.
Who gave them that picture? So that's the one off the wall?
They got the one off the wall. It's a picture that my grandmother gave me that we've had.
That one right there?
The second from the left.
So who gave them this picture?
The man on the right, far right is Plenty LeCue. Okay. William LeCue is my great-great-grandfather. William and Plenty are brothers. Okay. Okay, and the next man is their uncle, Gus Johnson. Okay. Okay, he is not one of the founders.
So who printed that?
That's just the story that's been going around. So, you know,
we need to black out the.
Yeah, or just put a silhouette or something like that.
Just do a silhouette.
Yeah.
I mean, because do we know how Aaron Middleton look?
No, but we, you know, when we started, we could not find anything about Aaron Middleton. Now, there was a guy I met at the gym there on Dorchester Road who said he was a relative of Aaron Middleton, but I told him to come and see us, and he just disappeared. But there are people who say that they're descendants of Aaron Middleton, but they just never show up when we ask them to.
Okay, we can't follow their names. I know Corn, I think Connie was working on it because I think he had a daughter named Dorothy, was it? Is Connie still on there? So anyway, she was looking into it, and I think he had a daughter, and the daughter had kids.
So
we gotta still find out.
We just have to find out where his lineage is, but that is not Aaron Middleton, that is my great uncle.
Aaron Middleton had a daughter, Conda?
Right, Aaron Middleton had one daughter named Abby Brown. And we got to find out, Abby Brown was married to a gentleman by the name, I think, Robert Brown. So I haven't been able to find out whether they had any children or not. But they might have been related to Calvin. Remember the gentleman named Chef Brown? He used to go around and sell blackberry years ago.
Name what now?
Nickname Chef.
You remember old man Chef? He used to go around and sell blackberry.
Okay.
Old man Chef?
David.
No. Well, she don't remember.
We'll get together.
Yes, she don't remember.
Yeah.
So we'll continue to do that research and maybe we can help us.
Yeah.
But, yeah, every middle could have one dog, that's that problem.
And the research is still evolving, because I found out the Trescott family, my Aunt Tanya, who married Williams Harper. Her mom is Trescott. She married into the, Trescott family from downtown. So we have pictures of their descendants.
How about that?
Yeah. So you never know until you start researching.
Right, because this used to be a part of Berkeley County. Yeah, this is Goose Creek.
And then, you know, the question is, how do they know each other to sell the property? They had to either family or know each other, just like, some of the trustees said, the way they got the 112 acres, they were saying, well, you know, the white side sold it to the black side.
Mhm.
They were all family.
Well, they said,
Some of them were abolitionists.
right.
So when you still dig into the story, you get more.
Mhm.
So we'll see.
Right.
We'll find out. Okay, with that said, any other announcements? The police department left their pizza party. That's, this Saturday, from 11 to 2, while we're working. And maybe we can go right over and get some pizza. They're having that, and then we have the flyers for the Historical Society, April 26th, and, Juneteenth.
Are they having to clean up?
Oh, no, it's been canceled,
Because
so much is going on, yeah.
March
No,
26th.
so, yeah, so, yeah. but
March
it's supposed to be
26th.
Saturday, so they can't.
Yeah, because they're doing the thing at Royal, so many other things. The police department's doing so many other things.
So, WCC is gonna be doing cleanup day March 22nd instead of February.
Right.
Any other organizations that you want to? I know we have a Royal Foundation that we work with, and we do wellness Spanish babies, and, I do sometimes do other things.
Well, just to let you know, through the Royal Foundation, we established a employment resource center at Royal.
Oh, okay,
And you can give me a call.
okay. And get some more information. Okay. So they have an employment resource center, and so look at that information and assimilate it out to everybody. Okay? All right. Hearts and minds clear? I can use this, y'all. Okay, all right.
Father God, we thank you for this meeting. We thank you for those who are here. Father God, we ask that you continue to bless this neighborhood, bless this community and the city, and our leaders. We ask that you bless the sick and shed in, and those who may be going through good treatment. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, there you go, very good. We got judge on our hands. Thank y'all, thank
Miss Valerie. Yes. And until you
You know, I'll take that money, I'll get that money. Hey, Benjamin Grant, okay. All right, let me give you a receipt.
Okay. We have a few that we'll put out just to remind people. They were on us about picking them up right after the election. We had to pick them up, and now we have to figure out where they all are.
Did I just put Ben on here right now?
I'm gonna get her home because she gets it. Yeah, I understand. It's time. Okay, all right, take care. Okay.
Benji, we were cleaning out some stuff out our store, up on Liberty Hill, cleaning out some stuff out our store on Liberty Hill. I found a document that shows where your great-grandfather Ishmael sold property back to my great-great-grandfather. And his signatures on it, as well as his wife's signature. Ishmael, yeah, and I think her name is Patricia, Priscilla. So Priscilla. Yeah, because she had to sign up for the document. Yeah, so I'll have to bring it and show it to you. So I might go to church Sunday. Yeah, Oh, right. Wow. Yeah, I know that. Hey, you know, if you don't know, nobody else will. Yeah.
I have to go about.
I know, they'll think that's, but I just want to make sure. They might have something.
Well, thank y'all for making the sacrifice to come out in this cold.
How about that? Thank you. For all you did. Hanging in there, so I appreciate you. All right, have a good night.
You too.
All right.
And Miss Audrey is in her. But I mean, Miss Audrey.